First question is, tell us about your background and experiences and how they have prepared you for a seat on town council.
Morning, everybody. Thanks for getting here so early. I know it's early to get here. Appreciate that. And also want to thank town council and everybody for being here, and for everybody who's putting this on. I've lived here for about 8 years. My wife and I moved here in 2008, and I've had the opportunity to serve and work in the community in the chamber. In fact, I see some of my old friends from the chamber. Steve's out there, and some of my old ambassador friends while I was on the chamber. More recently, I've actually had the opportunity to work on the Planning Commission, and I've seen a lot of the issues that are facing our town, some of the struggles that we see the community asking and talking to us about. And so I've become familiar with that, and frankly excited for the opportunity to really help in those areas. I've had the opportunity also to get to know several of the business leaders here and to talk to them about some of their concerns about how we balance growth. And so I'm excited. I've loved living here in Castle Rock. I've loved the way that the town has grown since I moved here. I know that scares people, and I understand that, but frankly, I've enjoyed it. I love some of the great new businesses that we have, and I'm excited to see the town continue to grow.
Second question, and we'll begin with Mr. Townsend. What do you consider to be the two most critical issues facing the Castle Rock business community? How do you think the town council should address these issues?
Thank you. And I think we're better now. Frankly, the two biggest things I see, and as I mentioned, I'm part of the Planning Commission. One of the biggest issues I see facing right now is an opposition to the growth of the town, and understanding how important it is to be able to hear the citizens and hear our public and their opinions on that, and to be able to address those. I think one thing that I see on a continual basis is the traffic issue and opposition to traffic and concerns about water. And so those are some of the key issues that our town is facing. And so I think it's really important to balance the growth that we have and help the public understand that there is a plan. The town has some really amazing plans in place right now, particularly for water, for traffic, and to be able to abate those. And so I think it's really critical to understand that balancing the need for the public to be able to express their concerns and our ability to hear them and be able to communicate with them effectively how the town has a plan to address those concerns. The other big issue that I see here is, and that I hear quite often, is balancing the new business that's coming into town with the existing business. I think it's extremely important that we have balance there, not just with the businesses that are going on up north, but also here downtown, and making sure that the downtown continues to thrive. I think this building is a great example of making that happen. I think we need to have a plan for, and I think the town has some really great plans for bringing more residential traffic here downtown and looking out for those businesses.
How do you think the town should balance economic growth and community character?
I love Castle Rock, and my wife and I love Castle Rock because it's business friendly and it's family friendly. And I think we can continue to do that. We can continue to create an environment that encourages growth of business, but also encourages families to stay here. The events that the community does, for example, here downtown, bringing traffic here downtown, movies and things that you can do with your children. My wife and I enjoyed going to the concert series up at the MAC. There are some really amazing events. I mean, how many of you have gone and hiked the incline at the MAC? I mean, Paul's in great shape because he's there all the time, right? We've done some amazing things with this community. There are some great parks, Rhyolite Park. There are some really amazing places that I think really speak to the character. And I think in terms of, we've got some great protections in place in terms of skyline, ridgeline to make sure that we keep our town looking beautiful and keeps that community character. But also, I really enjoy the fact, and I'm grateful for the fact that this town has a really, really great staff. We've got some amazing people that are looking at these things and making sure that we have the water and making sure that we have a plan for the water. and grateful for that town staff. I've gotten to know them on the Planning Commission, the hard work that they do, and also seen the hard work that the town councils put in to making sure that we keep our town both business friendly and family friendly, that it's a place where people come and want to live. Thanks.
Do you consider yourself a team player?
Yeah. Let's leave this on. I think I haven't seen any problems with it banging. Maybe we'll just leave it on. I'm just gonna leave it on. Let's leave it on. And in terms of being a team player, I consider myself a team player. I look at Castle Rock and I think that this is definitely a team effort, right? An effort between business and the citizenry and those who want to develop and those who are affected by that development. We're all on a team here. There's no I in team and there's no I in Castle Rock, so let's all be on a team.
What do you see as the main obstacles to attracting primary employers to Castle Rock?
I think one of the things that we definitely need to do is educating, continuing to educate. The town website's really great. There's some phenomenal information on there. It's a great resource. I mentioned the town staff earlier. Speaking of great teamwork, they do a great job. And I think continuing to get the message out to the members of our community how important that this new growth is for our community, because that can be an obstacle in terms of just understanding that we do need to have some of these larger businesses that can create primary employment come to our community, and also to discuss with our community their concerns and address those concerns.
Do you think citizen boards should be abolished?
No, clearly, I think it's important that the citizens have an opportunity to discuss their concerns. I think it's extremely important that everyone's voice is heard. I think the more that we have input, we were talking about being team players, and I think the more that we can broaden our tent, broaden the amount of people that we can have a discussion, I think that's better. The more feedback we can get. Clearly there's destructive type of communication, but for the most part, we need to have that input as best as possible.
The participant in the audience wants to hear about 3 issues: the quiet zone, Tabor, and the southwest quadrant.
As far as the quiet zone, it's not only a visceral reaction, it's often a physical reaction. It's you leaping out of whatever seat you're in. I've been down there and worked in downtown area, so it's not just an issue for the citizens who live down there. It's an issue clearly for businesses. It's very difficult to have phone conversations. It's difficult to enjoy your meal while you're down there if the horn's blaring. It's absolutely a challenge. In terms of how we rectify that, I think that really just taking a hard look at the consequences of turning that land over. But I think definitely we need to look at the quiet zone very carefully. As far as Tabor money, and I'm sorry I'm just repeating like the gentleman before, but really I think we're all in agreement in terms of that Tabor money going back. It belongs to citizenry. I think the best way to do that may be to do it through the water refund, and I've heard that that's a great way to do it. Southwest quadrant sort of underscores some of the difficulties that we run into if we put in the infrastructure before we actually have the development, and how important it is that we plan smartly and intelligently.
What is your opinion on having a town-wide election for mayor?
Yeah, I agree in terms of if that type of effort were to come forth, it should come from the citizenry. If the people of Castle Rock think that we need to put forth the effort to change the town charter, it needs to come from them. It needs to be something that they speak out on. As far as the council goes and the current system that we have, I think it works very well. It is representative, and I think they're doing a great job.
Thank you. So the last question, and I just want to let the person in the audience know that Castle Rock does have a community college presence, and there are efforts in play to expand the community college. With that, the question to our candidates is that how do you feel about supporting higher education in Castle Rock?
They did tell us to turn it off, for the record. So, no, you're right, Mr. Graham. But at any rate, I agree. I think it's very important. I think there's many things that higher education can bring to our community. It brings diversity, it brings culture, it brings some really amazing things. Some of us who went to college in small towns can recall just some of the great experiences it is to be in a town where you have all that diversity, some great differing opinions, and an opportunity to for our citizenry and also our children to grow up with some great diversity of culture and thought.